thank you guys for joining me this evening. I'm Patrick from Loop. Thank you. From Cincinnati. That's where we're headquartered. That's where our support staff is, etc. I've been with the company for 5 years now, over 5 years. I started in support, and I've kind of worked my way up to opportunities like this where I get to join you guys and some interactions with you and show you how powerful this thing can be. I'm sure a lot of you have logged into Loop with maybe a little bit of training, maybe not so much training. I consider these on-site trainings me turning the lights on for you to where, let's say you went to an open house and you had no idea where the light switches were. You're going to be bumping into things, running into things, looking for things, and you're not going to be able to find anything, right? Here's me turning the lights on for you so you can kind of navigate the system as you would normally, okay? So, show of hands, I think she asked the question already. Everyone has logged into Loop. Everyone's created an account. Everyone's created a loop thus far, right? Who here has created one in the last week? Who created one yesterday? Who created one today? Fantastic. Okay. So we'll skip the sign-in portion, okay? So I'll go ahead and just get signed in myself. Plug in my LAER Realty. It's always nice to be hunched over for these things.
What's your password?
LAER +1. All right. So this is, I guess we can call this new. This is our new loops page. Hopefully everyone's at least been exposed to this, whether you're using it or not. You may be used to this screen here. This is funny that this is considered the old. This is the old Loop now, right? So I may have mentioned it. Loop's only 9 years old. Okay, so me being there for 5.5, I've seen a lot of the ups and downs, a lot of the the wins and losses. But we are going through a little bit of a overhaul, a little bit of a facelift. Okay, the first step in that is revamping this loops page. Okay, how you get there is just below the LAER logo. It says click here for early access to the new and improved loops page. If I jump over, this is what we call the new responsive loops. So for instance, whether you're on your desktop, your laptop, your iPad, or your phone, this page will basically zoom in, zoom out, and allow you to do whatever you need to do on whatever type of device. Okay? So for instance, if I minimize this, kind of zoom in a little bit, it reformats itself so you see optimally what you need to see. So whether, again, you're on a phone, laptop, iPad, you're going to get the best bang for your buck there. Okay. Also on this page, which is very, very new, the TV's kind of cutting it off here a little bit, but there's a little icon. Let's see if I can't bring that into shot a little bit. Nope, not any better. But nonetheless, there's a little message icon here. This is new to Loop. You now have the ability to text your clients.
That's awesome.
Okay?
It looks like
this. So as of right now, it's very much like just texting your clients. There's really nothing super cool to show you, but this is also a feature on the mobile app. So if you haven't already downloaded the mobile app for your iPad, your Android device, whatever the case, on the mobile app, not only do you have the ability to text conversationally, you also have the ability to text contracts and get them signed via text. This is like 4 weeks old.
So what is that now? How do you do that?
So we'll talk about it in a little bit, but you basically have the ability to text your client and send a contract. They sign it right there on their phone. Obviously, for obvious reasons, people check their texts far more often than their email.
Oh yeah.
The open rate for a text message is 97% in the first 3 minutes. Email, the attrition rate goes down quite a bit every minute. Okay, so check out the new features. We'll talk about them in a little depth later, but I just want to point out a few new things on this page. Obviously, the loop is different. It's not so much a circle now; it's a card. Our name is not going to change. It's still going to be .loop. But essentially, you're going to see a little bit more detail present on the surface to where you're not going to need to jump into the loop to verify some of those key data points. They're going to be right there on the surface. Okay? And we'll talk more about that here in a little bit. I do want to cover just one boring piece, if I may. Okay? And that is in the top right-hand corner. This is what we call the profile icon. Either it's going to be a photo of yourself if you've included one, or it's simply going to have your initials. Yep. Go over or under. And in this profile drop-down, there is a My Account page. And I apologize if I'm in your way. But in this My Account page, there's just some basic account information that we want to make sure that we're capturing. That way we can autofill information for you and you're not typing in redundant, repetitive information every transaction, every document. Okay? So real quick, if I just walk down this page, I have, one, the option to upload a photo of myself. Not only is this photo going to be seen in that profile drop-down, but also in any emails that you share. Okay, so anything you send to a client, to a co-op agent, to your managers, etc., that photo is going to be in your signature block of all of those emails. So clearly, we want to make sure that's a nice, high-res, up-to-date photo of yourself, nothing from Spring Break 02. Okay? How your name is displayed here. Right? If you want to go by your full name, if you have a nickname, whatever you want to go by, you can adjust that here in the first and last name. However, if I scroll down, my e-sign name and e-sign initials, we absolutely want to make sure that is our legal name. Okay, that's what's going to be applied when you need to sign documents as the listing agent, buying agent. That's information that you don't want to have to edit every single time you need to sign. Make that edit once, you'll never have to do it again, okay? I can see right now, missed that middle initial, okay? Company name, job title, and tagline. These three pieces are also going to accompany that photograph in your signature blocks, okay? So clearly we want to make sure the company name reflects LAER Realty Partners, job title, guess we're all sales associates or whatever you guys want to call yourselves. And tagline, that's going to be a mission statement, Bible verse, joke, quote, referral link, anything like that. Paste it in there and it's going to be in all of your external emails, okay? And then the last thing on this page is your NRDS ID. Hopefully everyone's included theirs already, but in order for you to have access to the Massachusetts documents, we're going to make sure that you are in good standing with the association first, okay? So you type in your NRDS ID one time, you'll never have to type it in again unless you miss payment or dues, okay? Question?
Yes. Yeah. Can this be done from the app on your phone? I'm just looking at my app now and it has to be done.
Do it on the desktop first and then you won't have to worry about it on the app.
Sorry.
Yep.
If you change your email, can you change your email login too?
Yeah.
So if you change your email here,
Yeah.
that changes your login.
Okay, so you can do that.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
But check with a manager
Yeah.
before you change anything
Okay.
first, okay? Cool. There's just one other section here in the My Account page that I want to look at, and that's profiles. And really in profiles, it's just more information that we want to make sure we're capturing, okay? Phone number, fax, brokerage license number, office ID, agent license number. Plug this information in one time and I promise you will not have to type it in again, okay? If I scroll down, you can see what office I'm associated with. There is an option to add an association. Nobody needs to do that, okay? I've already connected Massachusetts for you guys. It's not going to be any benefit to add it again, I promise, okay? If I scroll down, here's where I'm going to put in my office specific information, okay? So my office address for Chelmsford, city, state, etc. This is going to be information that also populates your documents, right? As you tell the system that you're either the listing agent or you're the buying agent, well, this is buying brokerage firm info or listing brokerage firm info that's going to populate. Type it in once. You won't have to type it in again, okay?
What if you're doing New Hampshire? You put that in there too?
Yep, whatever whatever your home address, your home office
The
is.
home office, and then if you are also a New Hampshire broker, you can put that in
So
there.
you're both?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of us are.
Yeah,
About
I am
75
too.
of us who are both licensed
Yeah.
in both states.
Okay, so there's a couple things that we can do. One is we can set you up with another profile. So here on the left here, I have an agent profile. Well, that could be my my Mass profile, and then I can have a New Hampshire profile, and that way all my information is set properly. So we can chat more maybe offline at the end. I'll set you guys up. Okay. If I scroll down, the last section here is email settings. And these are all of the things that are going to produce an email to you when these are taken, okay? So anytime a document is shared with you, you're going to get an email. Anytime a document that you have shared has been signed, you're going to get an email, okay? When your signature is required, when the compliance review notes have been received, the compliance status of the loop is updated, the office adds a tag or writes a message regarding the loop or document and daily task reminders. Basic rule of thumb here, we don't need to know what these mean, we just need to leave them checkmarked. Okay? Nobody wants to see anything getting by you, not your managers, not the company, not your clients, right? Stay on top of it, make sure that nothing's sliding through the cracks, leave these checkmarked. And hit save in the bottom right if you've made any changes. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Any questions on the My Account page before we start creating loops? How we got here again is in the profile drop-down, My Account, fill in the blanks, right? Everyone knows your middle initial, what office you work at. We're good, okay? Now let's go back to loops. Now I can get there two different ways. One, I can click on this smiley face logo. When I hover over it, it says loops. Or much like any other website, I can click this logo in the top left, and it's going to take me back to home, or as we call it, the loops page, okay? Our loops page is clearly our dashboard. It's our filing cabinet where we're going to be able to access any loops that we created, someone shared loops with us, etc. Okay? What I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to create a listing. I'm going to show you how to pull in those listing documents, how to work with a listing checklist, how to add your clients, how to fill out those documents, how to share those documents. We'll take a look at the client's perspective. I think it's very important that we as agents know what happens when I share a document with my client. How easy is it going to be for them? If they have questions, how am I going to answer them? Right? So we're going to take a look at that today together. I do encourage all of you to do some role playing on your own. Receive a document, sign it as a client just so you feel comfortable with it and you know Miss Rogers, who just turned 88 this past week, if I need to share a document with her, she's going to be comfortable to sign it because I know what she needs to do. Okay? We'll do that. Once we get those documents back, I'll show you with one click of a button how to turn everything into the office for review. And then we'll start to receive some offers. We'll work with some PDFs, and we'll show you some alternative ways of getting clients to sign documents. Okay? Anytime throughout the training, question, raise your hand. I'll stop periodically for questions. Don't wait for me. If you have a question, just yell it out. Yes,
Can
ma'am.
you show us, so I don't forget, how to merge loops too?
We can talk about that, yeah.
Okay.
You want to jot that down because I will forget.
Yeah, there was a list Stacy sent that was awesome
Sweet.
Yeah.
of what you were going to teach. I was so excited.
All right. I'm excited too. So let's go ahead and create our first loop here. And the new screen, the add loop button's just on the top right. And the steps here, there's going to be 3 steps to really create the loop, but you'll see it's really 2. So the loop name is never going to change, right? If you're doing a listing, you're going to use the property address for that loop name. Okay? If you're representing buyers, you've yet to establish a property, you've yet to even look at a property, right? No offers yet. You can simply use the client's name as the loop name. There was an example earlier today where a gal was listing some lots and the property addresses, they don't necessarily exist yet. Do the best you can to fill in as much as you can, okay? So today I'm going to list 53 Gore Street. Now as I begin typing, you can see a couple things.
Are you typing in an actual listing?
No,
An address.
just an address.
Oh, okay, because I was gonna say, if you type in, do you want to tell them, like, if you type in an address that's already listed with MLS,
Yep, I'm gonna show them right here. So I began typing a property, and I'm getting some suggestions below, and these suggestions come from 3 different places. One is the MLS, okay? If this is a live listing on the MLS, you're gonna have the ability to click on that, if you're a buying agent, right? Click on that, inherit information from the MLS, right? It's really about 7 to 10 fields that you're gonna inherit. Those data points you would expect, right? The property address, listing price, listing agent, listing date, etc. Bedrooms and bath, I think, are included as well. The other place would be if the listing agent is using .loop, and they have a listing in here for 53 Gore Street, okay? There you would see the source being .loop, and it'll have the listing agent's name. And again, I would benefit by clicking that and inherit the information from the listing agent that they've put in. Okay. The third is Google Maps, and that simply just means this property exists. This is the same thing as if you pulled up directions to go to Dunkin' Donuts on your phone. You click that; it's going to be to your benefit. Okay. So let me go ahead. List this property.
If you import from the agent, say the selling agent or listing agent, will all of their emails come up? Because like
No.
I don't want to have to share my emails with, so you won't get that?
No.
You just get information about the property
Correct.
and maybe their email? Do you get their email?
You'll get the listing agent's email. You're not
But
going to
you
get the
won't
seller's
rest
email.
of it. Okay.
Never. No.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and choose that Google suggestion. Now, by choosing that Google suggestion, I'm guaranteeing that that property address populates throughout all of my documents, okay? You guys know how often the property address exists. It's probably on all of your documents, even more so maybe on every page of those documents. So right there, that's going to be a huge time saver just by using that, okay? Click that. I'll hit continue. I have an option now to upload a stock photo of the property if I happen to have one on my desktop. I can drag it and drop it or click the upload a photo. I'll hit done. And now I'm just going to get a quick little preview of what this card is going to look like on the surface. And immediately I have the options to start filling some stuff out. So the type, I mentioned this is going to be a listing for sale. You can see the other types here, listing for lease, purchase, lease, real estate, other, or something other than real estate. I can include a status. So I have pre-listing, private listing, active listing, under contract, withdrawn, sold, and terminated. As the life cycle of this loop goes, we want to make sure that we stay on top of this status because this is how we sort our loops page. So if you want to see everything that's under contract at the moment, we have to be marking things as under contract, otherwise our filing cabinet is not really beneficial, okay? So I'll go ahead and mark this as pre-listing. I've yet to even meet my clients, right? So we haven't looked at anything, we're not on the MLS yet. And I can enter in a listing price.
But that you don't know either.
Maybe not, maybe not. So I can wait on that until I acquire it, sure. Go ahead and create this loop. And this should look familiar. This page hasn't been updated yet. But right here on the surface, we have our loop name, our transaction type, our status, and then our view details page, which is our electronic cover sheet. That's where all the information is going to live if I need to look at it, okay? I have a document section. I have a local service provider section, a people section, and a task section. I like to start at the bottom and work my way up like Drake did. So in this task section, I have the ability, thank you, to load in a checklist to help guide me throughout this transaction, okay? As of right now, I created a template. I don't think anybody else had. If you have, it's just your own. But I've created one, and I can click this load template button off to the right and bring in a listing checklist. So I already created one. It's called listing checklist. I hit apply and add. And now I just have an itemized list of things that I need to accomplish for this listing. Okay, this is something that I need to do and I need reminders for. Okay, so for instance, you may make fun of me because these are very standard things in real estate practice, but I need a reminder to set up the CMA. I need a reminder to meet with my clients and have the agency disclosure, the exclusive, and take pictures and measurements. I need reminders on those things, okay? By adding that, I have the ability to come over here and assign due dates for these. So if you really do need reminders like I do, you can assign a due date, and guess who's going to have an email waiting for them on the 11th in the morning? When I wake up, I'll have an email reminding me that I need to create that CMA. Yes?
Can that come as a text instead of an email with this new system?
No.
Okay, work on that.
Okay. You got it. As of right now, it's going to be email.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So, if we don't come over here and check this off on the 11th, guess who's getting an email on the 12th, and the 13th, and the 14th, and the 15th, all right? That loop's going to send you 7 days worth of reminders until we give up. Okay, we tried really hard for 7 days, but you're a lost cause at that point. Sorry, okay? At that point, you may want to do what I did, just get married. You'll wake up every day with reminders that you cannot turn off, okay? Other cool things that you can do with this checklist is, this isn't just for you to use. Maybe you don't need reminders, but your clients do. You can create a checklist for your sellers or buyers, assign due dates so they know exactly what's going on in the transaction, they know when to turn paperwork in, they know what's around each corner, okay? Other cool things you can do, for instance, if you're working with a buyer, you can put in URLs. So in Kentucky and in Cincinnati, we have Duke Energy as our gas and electric company. And basically what you can do is create kind of like an affiliated business checklist of all those different services that they need to consider when moving. So one is updating their address for their gas and electric. You find out what that address is to update the physical address, you paste it in there, you send it to them, they click that link and they're there already updating their information. So imagine that as the agent-client relationship goes. My agent set me up and all I had to do was click one button, update this, click here, update that. Guess who I'm telling you about that experience? Everyone, right? So take advantage of that. Yes, sir.
Will we have a master list that we could make as agents
Not
of
yet.
the company?
Not yet.
We can pick from?
I encourage that to happen, but not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we can absolutely create a company-wide checklist that everybody can have access to. But let's say that you created one on your own, you used it for this one transaction, you said, well, that actually worked, that actually helped me quite a bit. You can go to the right of that drop-down menu here and click Create Template. Click that, you give it a name, and then you can add that to any loop moving forward, okay? As well, same drop-down menu, I can share this entire checklist. So if I did have an open house checklist for my seller of all the good things they need to do to present their home, I just share the whole list with them, and they're going to have a great open house, okay? Any questions on tasks? Does anyone use them today? Anyone may use them moving forward? Cool. Awesome. I can also collapse that by clicking on the folder just so I don't have to scroll so much. Yes, sir.
Can you sync it with whoever the lender is so that they're giving the same alerts? I noticed a lender that worked with a customer of mine was constantly giving them updates and the customer liked that. Is it synced in with the lender so you can be working together?
Absolutely. So all I got to do is go to this people section and add the lender in.
Okay.
And then from here, not only do I have the ability to assign these due dates, but I can also assign the task to someone in this loop. You just got to add them first.
Conversely, can the lender upload things so we know what the lender needs for the file to be created and closed?
Absolutely.
So that would work.
Yeah.
Smart.
So you just add a task. I need this. assign it to them, they get an email that moment. You assign a due date, they'll get follow-up emails along the way.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the people section. Zoom in a little bit. Here we go. Sorry. All right, people section. So in this people section, you should always see 3 people when you create a loop. Yourself with your email address, and then you're going to give yourself a role. Okay, click here, listing agent, perfect. And you should always see your admins for your office and then the admins for the company. Okay, if you ever create a loop and you don't see all 3 of those, chances are you logged in the wrong spot. Yeah.
I have a question, because this is what makes me insane, is if we're sharing a loop with another agent, right, it shows admin for that office as well.
Yeah.
Can they see our documents? Because I've been in loops and I've seen their stuff.
It's because they send it
They
wrong.
shared it
They
with you.
shared
Okay,
it initially.
like that makes me insane, like that's so crazy.
Yeah, so I'll explain here. To the right of the admins, you're going to see on my team. Anyone who is on your team can see and do things that you see and do, but only those on your team. So I'm sure if you logged into that loop and looked and saw, admin for Danver, whatever, it's not going to say on your team. But if it does, then yes, they do see everything. And there's probably some human error of how that was added.
Alright.
Okay?
By the agent or by whoever set it up?
The agent,
Okay.
probably. Yeah. So that's important to know. Okay, on my team, they see everything, they can do everything that you can do. Okay, important to know.
So you said to
Like it's like scary because like
Yeah.
I tried doing something the other day. I'm like, I can't even do this because I don't know who I'm sharing it with.
So everything is private until you share it,
Okay.
or if they're on the team,
They see it.
they see it.
Okay.
Okay. So and once we go through the client's experience, you're going to see firsthand what they see versus what you see. Again, another reason why that's so important. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and add my sellers. So I'll click this Add Person button here. And there's only 3 pieces of information that are required: full name, email, and role. Okay. So I'll go ahead and add my seller here. And now I've worked with Sally in the past. I've added her to a loop before, so anybody that you've added to a loop, they're automatically saved to a virtual Rolodex. So the next time you work with them, their name is going to be suggested.
I have a question.
I thought you were going to say that's my name.
Yeah.
Hey, Sally. What's the question?
I always enter the address because once you start, it gives you the chance to enter their address. But then I always end up having to re-enter it. It goes away.
Yes.
Why?
So I'll show you here in a second. So let me go ahead and add her real quick. I'll give her a role and save it. Or I should say, give her a role. Now I have the ability to add some additional information. This information you type in is only going to be applicable for this loop.
Oh.
Okay? But, yes sir.
Because we have texting now, do we have to add their cell phone at this point for that particular
You
client?
should always be adding the cell phone. Yeah. As much information as you can capture, plug it all in.
So as long as you put it in on the cell phone and not on the phone.
It'll work both ways. That's about default.
No one ever said you couldn't, Lenny.
Alright, so let me do this. And even more, when I add anyone, there is always going to be a checkbox that says add to my team. Knowing what that means, we're never going to add a client to the team. We're never going to add a co-op agent to the team. The only time we're ever going to check that box is if we have a co-listing agent, transaction coordinator, listing coordinator, or a personal assistant who needs access to everything that I have access to, and possibly to be doing things in lieu of my absence. Okay?
With that one loop.
For just this loop. Absolutely.
Let's check.
If you check that box, you will get a pop-up disclaimer that says this cannot be undone for this loop. Okay, that's in bold, so that should tell you to keep reading. Okay? Team members share everything in the loop, documents, people, and tasks. Do not do what I would do and just click whatever's bold at the bottom. Read the message, hit cancel, please. And don't click this button either. I want you to see this message every time to make sure, alright? There you go. I'll go ahead and hit add person. Hopefully you guys know more about your client than I do. Now to answer your names, your question here, Sally.
Sally, yes. Name and your name.
If you click on this people icon at the very top, you can edit and add information to any of your people, and that's where the information
It'll
is going to come
stay
from.
if I put it there. Okay.
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
Okay. If I scroll down to this people section again, if I, for whatever reason, misspelled her name, failed to capitalize it, anything like that, I can click directly back on her name. This box reappears, I make those changes, and I save it. Okay? Now, if Sally's selling this home with her husband, partner, or spouse, it is required that we add that second individual with their own separate and unique email address, okay? If you haven't ran into it yet, you will very soon. Husband and wife say, Patrick, we only have one email, okay? The reason we require two email addresses is that email address acts as a second form of identification to that person, and we take that security seriously, okay? We don't know what's going to happen a year from now, right? Husband changes the password on the email, wife doesn't have access to these documents, she loses a court battle.
I have a question on that.
Yeah.
Can you edit the name so the email is like the same? Like say if you Patrick, right?
Yeah.
And I send you an email to your email address,
Yeah.
and then I go back in and then change the name to Roberta
Yeah.
and send it, what's it gonna show up?
It'll say Roberta, but that does defeat the security
No, I
purpose.
know, but some people just don't have to, so would it, you know what I
I
mean?
don't think it lets you do that. It'll tell you that that email address is already assigned to somebody.
So,
Oh, really?
Yes.
so once they create a password, that locks the account. If they want to update their name, they have to update their name. You cannot.
Even if they don't create a password, if I do it and they don't go in and create it, I can't use that email for another person.
That's true.
Good.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
And you have them just create their own email.
Yeah.
So what if
so
they mistype their name wrong or something?
Oh, you can
edit that.
edit it.
Okay.
It's still the same person. You're
Yeah.
allowed to.
so if you run into the situation, husband and wife say, Patrick, we only have one email. A couple things that you should say. One, do you have a work email that you can use for the purpose of signing documents for the biggest purchase of your life? No, you don't have one? Okay. Do you mind creating a free Gmail or free Yahoo account for the purpose of signing documents for the biggest purchase of your life, right? There's probably a good reason why they only have one email for the past 25 years, right? Probably because they bought it back in 1996 for $19.99,
On AOL.
right? They bought an AOL email for, they got a free CD. They didn't have the money and funds to buy two. Let them know that emails are free nowadays, okay? If they want to sign up for a free Gmail, they can then use that to send all their other spam and junk to later, okay? But at the end of the day, if they say, Patrick, we only have one email, we don't want to set one up, whatever their excuse or reason is, the government's watching them, whatever, we can just scroll up, fill out the documents, download them, print them, and have them signed on the back of your Ultima, okay? That process is never going to go away, all right? But if you can coax a free email out of them, great, but do not do anything that pressures them into doing something they're not comfortable with, right? Cool. So for this example, we'll say that Sally's not married, so it's just going to be her. To my knowledge, she's not even dating anybody right now. So if you guys know anybody, let me know. Yeah, she's a catch. Don't worry. The next
Buying
section.
her own house, so.
Yeah, she's selling this bad boy. Yeah. The next section here is the local service provider section. This is where you have the ability to pin vendors or service providers that you guys work closely with. You pin them in every loop. Whenever you need to introduce them to your client, you click on their face, sends them an email right away. and send your client an email right away. Okay? So this is very much like saving all your business cards that you get at the happy hours, you know, all the time. You save them here, and you don't have to, you know, find it in your desk drawer ever again. Okay? Click on their name, they get an email, so does your client, and those emails are talking to each other. So they can then go schedule time to meet or exchange, you know, quotes or whatever. Okay? And you can add new service providers just right here to the right. Click that, add as many as you want. I always encourage, as you should, if you add one, add three. Okay? Make sure that our clients have options and we're staying within the lines of RESPA. Okay? Any questions on those? Yeah.
As a company, can we add
Yes.
a vendor in?
Yes.
So
You
that-
can add all of Ross, you can add
All right.
everyone.
All right.
Yeah, then.
I think we
But you
should
have
add.
to check it off if you want your client fees.
Load it up.
Correct. So if I click on Home Inspector, this is clearly one of mine that I added. But essentially, if there was 3 of them here, I would just check that plus
The one
button,
that you want, not.
The one that I
not
want,
The one the company.
then click
says.
Request. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So you still get to choose, as well as your client's going to get to choose too.
Okay.
Okay.
So on that page, if the company or anybody does load up 15, 20,
They'll be there.
They're not all gonna be on the front, on the page like that one picture is, right?
Yeah, it will. It'll just be a much bigger box. Like this-
No, but you clicked on the lender, right?
Oh yeah. So that's the Home Inspector. So there's gonna be a Home Inspector button, mortgage, title. There's gonna be different icons and different
Okay.
pictures for the industries.
Okay.
So if you want, you know, moving company, click on the moving company, and that expands if you have
And then
3
you'll
or
have
4
as many as
different.
you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you can't just send them the business card, they have to automatically each get an email?
So-
Say they didn't wanna call in, but now they already got their email and, like, oh, this,
Yeah, I mean that's just gonna start and kick off the conversation. If you know they click on the email, well now I have your phone number. I'm just gonna call you. So if they want to take the conversation offline, by all means they can do that. But we're gonna make the introduction for them here because it's the easiest place to do it. Cool. Any other questions on service providers?
How do you share that with your clients?
Yeah.
So I click on Home Inspection. I then click this plus button. I can type a little message here and request info.
Now, who am I requesting info from? Where is that request info going to?
The client.
Bill Inspector
Right,
and my client.
and your client, so I don't see the client's email or name in there anywhere?
You're in there.
I've added them already. So
You did.
here,
He's in the
I
loop.
missed it.
so in the
He's
people
in the-
section, I've already
Oh,
added
just
my
there.
seller.
Yeah.
Oh, and whenever your client gets an email from you for dot loop, like a dot loop email, sign here, the footer of the email shows all the people you're recommending, the bank people. At least mine
Close, yeah,
does.
yeah. So they'll when we sign as the client, there's going to be another option for the client to just connect directly to them. We'll see that shortly.
Will the vendor get your client's email? Like if you.
Only if there's a connection being made.
Okay. so
Only
they
if
won't
I
see it first?
initiate the
Like they
introduction.
can't harass your seller because they know they
No.
know that, okay.
No. If they do, it's because you already introduced them.
Okay, but
Sorry.
for instance, the home inspector, if I recommend 3 of them, they're not gonna have the name or email of my buyer, correct? Unless
Once you make the introduction, yes, they will.
they would
Yeah.
have their email?
So right now, I haven't introduced Sally in my home inspector, so neither one of them know that the
Right.
other exists.
But once you click that and send it to your buyer,
Yes.
then they'll have the home inspector's information, but will the home inspector have theirs?
Yes.
They will, okay,
Yes.
good to know.
Alright,
Yeah.
thanks.
That way they can start working together. Yeah.
So if you were to
But is it-
recommend 3,
If you, yeah, I think what she's saying is, if let's say I recommend 2 to the buyer, and the vendors both are gonna get the buyer's information.
yes.
Yes.
So they can.
So can we block that?
Yeah. So one, if I if I click on home inspectors and I have 3 here,
Okay.
I'm choosing which ones I'm introducing her to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to click that plus button, and I can do all 3
Well, you
and
can choose
introduce
none as well.
or none
Okay.
or none.
You can choose all 3, but then those vendors will have your buyer's information.
Yes.
For
Correct.
instance, if one home inspector says, or they call and say, okay, I like this home inspector, the other 2 can keep
Solicit,
emailing and
yeah.
soliciting them, and so that's probably not so great.
We just wanna send the
You
information
can,
to
the
them.
client
So
can just say,
client, let them
no,
decide.
I'm working with this guy.
That's their homework.
But
Because you have to comply with the law.
if I'm
You have
also
to tell them to.
But you
or-
don't have to send it.
Well, here's the whole thing.
You don't.
Exactly.
But you're not gonna recommend a home inspector who's gonna be harassing potential customers.
Well, if you're gonna give them 3, you don't know, I don't know.
Right, so all 3 home inspectors would like email them back and say, hey, here's my services, blah, 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 right?
It's up to the client to
And
decline.
it's up to the client.
But you have to keep the law, right? Is that not right?
yeah,
You have to-
we recommend
You have to recommend
3.
more than
At the same
a
time,
few.
it's like, so your client picks one of the home inspectors and not the other 2. Well, if either one of those other home inspectors continue to harass your client, you're never gonna recommend them to any business again anyway, so. No, they're not gonna be doing that.
Yeah.
I could just call them up and say, here's a couple, but you might like
could do
that.
that.
You know?
I mean, or I mean, if I'm a client, I could be shopping these people all day long.
Right.
Guess who's probably going to have an email in my inbox every day for the next month, right? That's pretty normal.
It's the
But
relationship you build with
Yeah.
with your vendors. You have to have more than one.
right, yeah. If you catch wind of any of that stuff, well, you're not going to be recommended and pinned on my loop anymore. Cool. Any other questions on service providers? Is anyone using this today?
I use it.
Cool.
Good old Sally.
Sally, I know, my new name. Get the
All right.
cards.
I just do have one question.
Yes, sir.
Before I get ahead of myself. We've run into an issue where we sent agency disclosures to, say, developers or different buyers and things like that. And when we send it, it shows the address. Remember this problem that we had? So if they decide not to click on this dot loop, they've already seen, like, I'll say if you're a builder, and I call up and say, look, I got 15 great lots, blah, 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 I'm gonna send you an agency, I want you to click on it, and then we're gonna go from there. Okay, great, send it to me. So I send him this thing, and he sees at that point, he had that problem.
Yeah,
He
what
didn't
the
back
address
doors,
is.
he came to us, but he sees the address of what I'm gonna show him. You understand what I'm trying to say? So if you turn and say, you know what, not interested in this one, but I've already, it looks like it could be, it's an
Take
issue.
dot loop out of the equation. You meet with this guy. You're going to share with him those addresses, right?
Are you talking about you make a loop with the address of the property and then you send him an agency this, I make my loops
Yes.
with the name of the client.
It's now that we've changed them, but now we're supposed to do them as addresses.
I do it as an
Only
address
after-
when
Can
I
I
have
explain
it
this the right
contract.
way?
You are.
Yeah.
Just help me.
You are.
So if we create a, just let me finish. So for example, I call you up and say, geez, I got a great deal. Let's put this together. It's 15 lots, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Okay, here's what I'll do just to protect ourselves. I'm gonna send you an agency. You just gotta click on it, click on it, and then we're all set. Okay, Mr. Builder. But when we send it to them, okay, we noticed in one exercise, we're like, oh my God, if they don't click on this, which they don't have, I'm not interested. They do see this great deal
address.
that I
The
found.
address, right.
And it just seems like, you know.
Yeah.
So on
Let's be-
agency, I guess the question is on agency disclosures and one of those other mandatory, whatever those things are there.
Yeah.
Basically, you're getting somebody to click, so if they buy that property, they're paying us. You
Okay.
know? Can that be? Can
Don't
we
use
send
the property address.
Right.
Right, just use their last name.
In situations
But-
like that, use the
okay.
builder's name.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the buy
So
side,
we
you
don't have
always-
to do the addresses.
No.
So my recommendation for the
So
naming.
that would be a way to fix that problem, to send an agency disclosure with just
their name.
just their name to click.
Yeah.
100%.
Address when it's under contract or being placed in offer.
So the agency's,
Being listed, yeah.
okay, sorry, thank you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. Now, if we look at the document section,
They're aces, unless they're buying it.
right now in this document section we have one folder, there's nothing in it, but I do want to point out that the folder is simply titled folder. Okay? Doesn't really tell me what should be in it, what is in it, etc. So I want you guys to get in the habit immediately to rename that. Okay? Sally, you're awesome. If I look to the right, I'm going to click this drop down menu. I have the option to rename, and guess what I'm going to call it? Listing folder. Okay? What this does, this sets me up in a good position for when I do receive offers and purchase paperwork, I know not to put it in with all my listing documents and then getting all those mixed in and shuffled around. I want you guys to be a little bit more organized than that, okay? So renaming that listing folder right away is going to set you up for success there, okay? So ultimately, if I do need to add purchase paperwork, I'll just click this add folder button and imagine offer folder. So now I have two different folders with two different add document buttons, and I can stay organized within this loop. And if I have more than one offer, well, I'm creating more than one offer folder and keeping all those separate, okay? We'll talk more about that shortly. Let's first look at the listing folder. So I have 4 ways to introduce a document into this listing folder. If you're starting out from scratch, you're probably going to start in the template section, okay? So our templates are always going to be interactive, ready to be edited documents, okay? So here you can see the different folders that I have access to on the left. I have an inbox, summer rentals, some New Hampshire forms. My listing packet and buying packet are for Massachusetts. The LAER master folder, if I click this is going to be all of the in-house proprietary documents. Again, ready to be edited. You can scroll down and just see how many there are. There's quite a few.
Over 400.
So I absolutely recommend you using this search bar when you need to find one, okay? You can search for any keyword in the title of the document to find it, okay? If the only word you know is and, you can search for and. Okay, thank you, Dolores. And our MAR interactive forms. Again, I mentioned that we need to have your NRDS ID in here in order to gain access to it. Clearly, I'm not a licensed agent in Massachusetts, so I don't have access, okay? But again, if you didn't put in your NRDS ID on that My Account page, you can type it in once here. That'll save. You'll never have to type it in again, okay? Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and add my listing packet to the loop, so I'll click and open that. I can click the Select All button and hit copy, okay? Or if I wanted to, I can scroll down, pick and choose the ones I want, then hit copy, okay?
So I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
When that finishes importing, if you go back to your added document, click on the templates. So all of those folders that you created, how do you create a new folder? So if I wanted to create a folder
You wanted to create your own listing packet?
Yes, because it's a pain in the butt to search through all those damn forms. Remember, is it 701 or 711? Is it 508 or 522?
Okay.
Can I create my own?
Yes, you can.
How do I do that?
Have you told your managers that you don't like the folders?
No.
Okay. Let's work that information up and let's see if we can't make a change. 'Cause if you're the only one that feels this way,
No.
No.
I have my own.
there you
I
go.
have my
So
own.
we can make these changes
But
globally.
there's a big advantage to having your own. You can put in your information ahead of time, like my agency disclosure already has my name, my license number, everything on it.
But that information populates anyway.
It does. It doesn't on ours.
Yeah, it does.
It does?
Yeah.
So
It depends
if
on
you
the
wanted
day.
to create your own,
Yes.
here's a templates button in the top. Templates.
Excuse me. So this
Here's
is,
all the folders. I can create a new folder right there
Thank you.
and add
So
it.
you can
Okay.
put the documents you always
so
use.
everything you need goes in one shot.
You
Okay.
can create your own paperwork too.
But
like I
yeah,
have a
let's not
contact sheet.
harbor these thoughts.
Yeah.
If you think that there could be improvements,
That's a great
Yeah.
point.
get them up to the management and let's see if we can't make everything a little bit keener and nicer for everybody, okay? And not everyone, okay, so next week everyone learns how to create a folder. Well, guess what? Now we have 13 different types of folders in this office when we could have one that's much more reduced and efficient.
You
Well,
can
now
have a
that's-
seller's packet and you can have a buyer's packet.
Okay,
It
so
would really
my
save
folders are
time.
seen by everyone?
No, that's the thing.
Then why, I don't know, I don't understand what you just said, why would have, who would have?
So
13
she's gonna have her own
folders?
listing packet, everyone's gonna have their own listing packet.
Right,
it could be the same thing. So let's create one that's reduced and a little bit, nicer.
With all the basics that we
Rose,
need.
actually, Rose, could I ask, so when you sign into Dotloop, do you see a buyer packet folder and
No.
You don't?
No.
No.
But they don't have.
Wait,
don't
I
have
know it
everything.
differs from office to office, so sometimes. Alright, so Rose, you don't see that?
I only have the MAR
Uh-huh.
and I have the LAER. And that's it.
Okay, so yours was not set up wrong,
What office?
correctly.
Mine is on set up.
Mine has neither.
Here?
We're a Plum Island.
Chelmsford. Well, oh, you mean,
We're in Newbury.
yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so let me make a note and I'll email Lisa Ferruccio tomorrow.
Thank you.
Mine's either. I don't have anything.
You don't either?
No.
Alright.
Thank you, Lynn.
Are you set up yet?
I'm set up, but it's like he said. There's no packet in mine's.
And not that I'm gonna use that packet, it's too much crap in it.
No, me too.
You just need the
It takes
basics,
too
I wanna
long,
know
yeah.
the forms like we
Or
all
the
use every
email,
day.
when you press the email.
But now I know where you
Hang on.
Patrick,
Yeah.
Go back.
Patrick,
To,
You're good now.
I'm good now?
And the addendums, that would be nice too. 'cause
But where's my email?
What do you
To
mean?
attach the email, remember? There's 3 boxes.
So
Or
let's go back,
status
we'll go to
change, all
loops,
those.
you have 2 profiles. We wanna be in,
Grab all those.
that one's
You wanna make sure you're in
Things that
there.
you're always using, you know?
But like you
so if you created a new loop here, you will have all that stuff.
in my
Okay.
template.
Alright, yeah, let's reel it back.
So you're suggesting that we could make one template for LAER that has like our listing, has like, so we just click on one little folder
Yeah, I'm gonna have
and
to
we all
learn how
are
to do
in
that.
like one.
Yeah. What I'm saying is if you have an ideal listing or buying packet, write it down, send it to your manager. They can do a vote, however system they want to go about it, to make it more consistent. The last thing I want to do is show you guys how to create folders, and there is no continuity across anyone here in
And
the
that
office.
makes a lot of sense. When you just did that one click and your 14 forms uploaded,
Yeah.
that's what we need to do.
Instead
We-
of the 400.
Yeah.
I like it.
We
Webster's
can
not set up right
absolutely do
either, Lynn.
I like it.
You get all 400 of them.
You don't have the side folders?
No, you get all 400 things I have to sift through. If I'm
You don't
looking
have a
for
buyer folder? So my regular Dotloop account is the same as yours. Are you signing in, did you have the dark blue bar that says LAER at the top?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you guys don't have the,
No, if I'm
So I always
looking
pick
for,
through them.
I have to pick
After,
through,
alright.
I didn't tell you guys I think you guys think we're going to be here till 9 o'clock tonight. We will end at like 8. I'm going to give you an hour back.
Starving.
If you guys,
It's starting.
the stocks are playing right now?
And Sox are starting at 8. We gotta wrap this up.
Alright. I will stay here as long as anyone wants to look at each and individual account, okay?
Yeah,
Sound good? But I
alright.
want to keep the ball rolling a little
Rock
bit,
on.
okay? So now I've added 20 documents into this loop, okay? And still, that may be too many, right? If I walk into this office, I'm assuming, I didn't see any, but there's probably packets of paper. I could probably grab a listing packet and walk out the door with it, right?
No.
No,
Not
not
here?
here.
That's good, okay? But imagine if I walked in, I went to the filing cabinet, I grabbed a listing packet. Before I walked out that front door, I'm going to thumb through it, pick out the documents I know I'm not going to need for that transaction, and I'm going to throw them in the recycling bin, right? I hope. We're going to do the same thing here, okay? We're going to look at this list and say, okay, well, I don't need any of the, the land or condo things, right? So I'm going to go ahead and check mark those. Maybe I don't need some of these disclosures, right? Okay, just a couple carbon monoxides. I'm just going to check mark a few just so I don't have so many documents in here.
Now, is that the listing packet?
This is the listing
Okay.
packet. So I'm going to check mark those documents, and what I have now is the option to archive them. So everything that I have check marked is going bye-bye. I archived 10 documents, so now if I look at it, I'm only looking at those documents that I need for this transaction. Okay, now those others I may need eventually, and I can always get them back by clicking the Show Archive button here. And you can see those are then rendered at the bottom, grayed out. If you need them, you can unarchive them. Okay, but this allows me to concentrate on just what matters most here. Okay. So at this point, before I open up these documents, I do want to point out a few things to the right. Each document has their very own status, so you know where these documents are at all times. Currently, these are not shared, which means nobody has access to them, right?
Right.
That was a trick question. You guys failed. There we
The
go.
team does.
And you can see if you hover over that icon with the 2, it says shared with admins. Why is it? Because they're on my team. There you go. Okay? Each document also has their very own message or note section. So if I need to communicate with my clients or with the co-op agent or my manager regarding this specific document, I click on that message and I can send a quick note to Sally and say, hey, heads up, this is the document I was talking about. Make sure you reread paragraph 2, right? You can correspond with them that way. If I need to send a note to my managers, here are all of my admins I can choose from. I can send group messages, multiple people, etc. Okay? So again, I just click new note, choose those over here, and we're good. Okay? The great thing for the client is if I send Sally a message, she's going to get an email with the message. She doesn't need to do anything except reply to the email, and the message is going to come back. Okay, so nothing new. You don't have to teach her, have her sign up for an account. She replies that email like she does every day. The message comes right back in. Okay? To Dotloop.
Does it notify our normal email to let us know?
Sure will.
Okay.
Okay? So, and then, just like everything else, if you haven't already noticed, Dotloop loves drop-down menus, right? They're everywhere. If there's ever a point in time where you can't find something, you don't even know if Dotloop can do it, right? Look to the right. Chances are what you're looking for is going to be in that drop-down menu, okay? So real quick, I have the option to open a document. I can rename a document. I can make a copy of a document. So if you need to make a copy and move one document to another loop, I can make a copy and say what loop I want that document in. Okay, I think you asked that before we started. I can check the history of a document. So that means anytime I click on one of these documents and open them up, I'm always going to see the most up-to-date version of that document. But you guys know, as real estate agents, there's no such thing as a single version document, right? Every time it's modified, edited, signed, shared, modified, edited, signed, shared, every one of those things creates a new version. If I want to go back and see, version 4 of that document, I click on history and I see the whole entire audit trail of everything going on. Okay? So if you want to pick up version 4 after the buyers, edited the, signed the exclusions, right? You can pick it up from that point. I can print and download the document. I can check the signature verification page once I've acquired signatures. I can archive a single document, and I can fax the document out. Cannot fax in, but I can fax out. Okay? You like faxing?
No, but sometimes people want it.
Cool.
And I don't own a fax machine.
So yeah, I don't do any offices have fax machines, Lynn? Besides the scanner and printer?
Some of them have it built into the scanner and printer, but some offices
Okay.
don't have faxes at all. So
Good.
We do here.
They belong in the museums.
Yep.
Next to your page.
I agree.
All right. So the way that I like to open up my documents is all at once. Okay, I like to have everything autofill all at once, and I like to just go one document after another, bang, 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 filling in the blanks, okay? The easiest way to do that is to check mark the folder, which check marks all the subsequent documents, and I, again, have this toolbar here that I can click open and open up all of them, okay? So when I do that, the first thing that we'll see is this autofill screen, and hopefully everyone's taken advantage of this. This is where we're going to have the ability to enter some specific information about this loop, or simply confirm the information that is being pulled in from elsewhere. So right now, you can see under roles, Sally 1, Sally Seller, perfect. Listing Agent 1, Pat Brossart, great. If I need to, maybe if I forgot to add Sally in the beginning, or maybe she's just now telling me that she's married, I can click Select Person, Add Person, and this should look familiar. It's the same screen I added Sally to. Okay? Alright, if I scroll down, there's my property address, auto-populated based off me choosing the Google suggestion. I told you that was going to populate. I wasn't lying. If I scroll down, financials, this is information I don't know yet. Okay? Remember, we're still doing a listing. I'm not gonna assume, guess, put any placeholders in. I'm gonna add that information once I acquire it, okay? So in my listing information, this is being pulled from my account page, my account page. Sally's info, here's some listing data. Watch how easy it is to apply these dates. Expiration date, you click, you get a calendar, select the month, select the date. Listing date, select the month, select the date. Original price, we'll call it $750. If you want to see commas and decimal points, add them in that way. Scroll down, add a page and a book. And autofill. Zoom out just a hair. Over here, there's going to be a black box that says 2 roles have been assigned, 21 fields have autofilled. That's 21 fields that you don't need to click in and type. So you guys should know, maybe you don't know. That's probably, I guarantee you don't know actually, how many times your clients' names appear on these 14 documents. How many times does the property address appear on those 14 documents? I'll give you a hint, it's 21 times, right? So that's 21 times that you don't have to type in, right? Imagine if you're doing this handwritten stuff. My hand would fall off, okay? So if I scroll down, let's see what did autofill. This right here is obviously just a flyer. This shouldn't have autofilled anything. If I scroll down, I believe this is a PDF as well. Yeah, flyer, flyer, flyer. Okay, here's our pending checklist. Property address autofilled. I can go ahead and type in my name here. Okay, these dates, easy to autofill. Get your calendars, pop them in. Okay, begin typing, filling in the blanks. Okay, if I scroll down, more date fields, more check boxes. All right, these are all interactive. Take advantage of those. Okay, fill in those that apply. Scroll down. All right, here, more check boxes. Actually, these are radio buttons, I apologize. So radio buttons, if I check one, change my mind, check another, it's going to remove the original. So I'm not kind of voiding this out. You can see the bottom of this page where the seller's signature is already being assigned to Sally. Because we told the system that Sally's a seller, the system knows where Sally needs a sign, or the seller needs a sign, it's already saying Sally sign here. Same as the listing agent. Very easy for me to identify that I need to sign that, right? Whether you guys sign before or after your clients is entirely up to you. So whatever you've been doing for the past 10, 15 years, whether it's before or after, you can continue to do that same thing, okay? But
if you sent that out right like it is there, she'd be able to click and sign both boxes.
No.
I've had clients do it.
Yeah, they can.
They can,
And they call me
they say,
confused.
geez, I signed them both. I'm like, because you didn't go
So
and put
she can sign Sally sign here and there too?
Yes,
And she's a seller.
because it's a seller and it's highlighted. So if you go to it at the settings though and go no one,
And then she
then it'll go back to
You guys wanna see what happens if I leave this alone?
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it alone, okay?
Who are you gonna send it to? You?
I'm gonna send it to Sally.
Okay.
Alright? So I'm gonna go ahead and sign my box real quick. So I get a little preview of what my dot loop signature is going to look like. Of course I can draw it if I want to, or I can click adopt and sign. By clicking adopt and sign, I'm agreeing to the dot loop terms of use of my electronic signature and initials have the same force and effect as my written signature or initials. It's a disclosure, people. You have to read it like that, okay? It's a disclaimer. So if I scroll down, filling in more, what document is this? This is the mandatory, okay.
Mandatory licensee consumer relationship.
Alright, another pending checklist.
So there doesn't have to be an address on that at first,
So,
based on what you said, right?
Not on the agency disclosure, no.
What bank is it on?
So I'm gonna make sure you guys are using it. I'm gonna go through and make sure you
Going
guys.
down. Here is our standard sale agreement. So look at all the information that autofilled, the information that didn't. What are we going to do? We're going to click and type. Okay. Here's our seller's initials already assigned. She's only going to be able to sign one of those, I promise. Scrolling down, filling in more blanks. Okay. let's get to a decent sized checkbox here. Cool. This is a text box, okay? When I click on a text box, I have a sub toolbar that opens up that allows me to do things that I want to do with this box, such as I can assign this text field to my client. So maybe Sally and I are going back and forth, right? She won't give me a straight answer on what she wants in there. I'm tired of asking. I can click on that box, assign it to her, I can share it with her, and she's going to be stopped on that box to fill it out. Okay? And only that box. Okay? Now if I don't want her to fill that out, I can just go back to no one, and then I'm the only one that can control that. I can change my font type, I can increase or decrease my font size. Okay? I can change the alignment from left to center to right, so maybe that's going to be much easier for my client to read. I can make that bold, I can italicize, I can strike through my text, I can change my color from black to blue. Strongly encourage keeping it as black. Blue ink's going to lose its integrity much faster if it's being printed, scanned, printed, scanned, printed, scanned. Okay? I can highlight this field. So if I want to draw attention to it, so there's no way that Sally's going to miss this, I can highlight it with a color, and there's 3 different colors you can make, you know, a meaning for each. Okay? There's a clause library and a field history. Field history is going to tell me every piece of information that's ever been added to that field on this document. Okay? So let's say today this was a text box. Next week Sally comes back and says, no, Pat, that's not a text box. So I edit it. I change the color from yellow to green. I take away the bold. I change the font type. I click on field history and it's going to tell me every one of those moves that I made. When I made it, who made it, and what was there prior to that change. Okay? Hello.
Question.
Yes, sir.
When you send that to the client, all she gets is the box, and you'll have to explain to her what it is that she needs to spell out? Or is it that you get a little portion of the description on the top?
So let's do this. I'll show you what it's going to look like. How about that? Let's assign that to Sally. Okay? Scroll down, fill in my blanks. We're good. So at this point, let's go ahead and share this document with her. Okay? So I'll click Save, and I'll go back. Now there's a reason why I'm not clicking Save and Share and sharing all 14 of those documents at once, okay? And I'll explain why right now. I want to save, yes I do. Cool. Alright. So what were those documents? It was the mandatory licensee and then the standards purchase and sale agreement?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll select share. Now, when I click share, I get to see which documents I'm sharing right now, who currently has access, myself and my admins. Sally's name is already checkmarked because the system knows that there's fields assigned to her. How many fields are assigned to her? To the right, 10. And then by default, she has the can sign permission. If I click on can sign, there's 3 other permissions that you can grant when sharing. If you hover over each one of them, there's going to be a little description to the left letting you know the ideal situation. So the least permission, view only. It's exactly what it sounds like, right? You're sending them a view only document they can't edit, modify, or sign. It's ideal for third parties, attorneys, lenders, mortgage, etc. Okay? Can sign is going to allow my client to sign, initial, or fill out any of those boxes that I've assigned to them. Okay, only those. Okay? Can fill and sign is going to let them fill out the entire document. Documents like your disclosures, your lead-based paints, your financial net sheets, documents that you guys as agents should not be filling out. Okay? When you give them the can fill and sign, she'll be stopped and prompted on every single field, letting her know that what she needs to do. Okay? Also, if you have husband and wife and you're sending that disclosure, you only need to send one person can fill and sign. okay? Once you get it back filled out, just send it to the second person can sign, okay? This happens all the time, and it's funny that if I were in a room with my buyer and seller and I had 2 disclosures, I wouldn't say, here you go, you fill this out and then you fill that out. Good luck. I guarantee it's not going to match. Same goes for a dot loop. She's going to fill it out, I get it back, I can send it to the second party just for signatures, okay? Awesome.
So, but you have to go through the individual boxes and assign each one to the client
No.
that you want to fill it in?
No, no, no.
Because I did that for one of my clients and he said he couldn't fill anything in, so he gave up.
No, 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 no. The can fill and sign is going to let them, they'll be stopped and prompted on everything.
Huh.
If you want them to fill out 1 or 2 fields, you can assign that to them and just simply give them the can sign, but a disclosure, all day long you're sharing can fill and sign.
He must have been doing something wrong. Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Yep. The last permission, can edit in private, is the permission that you're going to grant when sharing with other agents. Okay, so when it's time for me to shoot it off to Joe Schmo, the buying agent, I'm going to give him can edit in private. That way he can open up the document, assign fields to his client, and acquire electronic signatures. How many times have you guys received something from a .loop user and it was view only? You couldn't do anything. You couldn't add your clients to it. You couldn't get them to sign. Guess why? They shared it to you incorrectly. We are not going to do that. Okay?
I have a problem with that,
Yeah.
because I started sending that,
Yeah.
but then when I needed to go back and open up a document, it said, oh, so-and-so has this document locked because he never closed it or sent it back or did something.
So it's the
then
message.
I had to create, or I don't remember the options it gave you, but it wasn't very friendly, and it's like they're sitting there with this document open.
So.
I kind of got messed up on it.
Yeah. So the message that she saw says this document is being modified by.
Yeah, Joe Schmo user.
Exactly. So it's not that he actually has the document literally open and modifying it, but if I share it with the buying agent here, she may be waiting on her client to sign it. Right? I don't know what she's waiting on or what I'm doing. So if I need absolute access to that document, I have the ability to pull it back.
Right.
And make those changes. Otherwise, I'm waiting for her to do whatever she's doing. And then she's going to send it back to me and I'll have it back. So there's no telling what they were doing with it. You probably are right that the message is a little rigid. Could be a little bit warmer. But I don't know what she's doing with it. I'm going to wait for it to come back.
How do you retract it back?
So it'll say this document's being modified by so-and-so. It'll say make a copy, withdraw.
Okay.
So I could do either one of those.
So can you just use the fill and sign, because they can add a text box, or they can add a signature, or they can add a date under the fill and sign?
But they can't. They're only going to be able to fill out what's there. They can't add a text box for their client.
Oh.
They need can edit in private. Okay? And if you've been on the receiving end, you know it's not fun to get a document and you download it, PDF it, add the signatures, add all that stuff. Or you pick up the phone and say, Joe,
That's what I did.
get your act together and give it to me, can edit in private. Do you want this back tonight? Reshare with me.
Alright.
Okay?
Change that
I know
up.
you guys have thick skin up here. You can be a little aggressive on the phone with your agents, right? I know you guys do. Alright?
So when you retract it and make it a copy, if that person's not still signing or seeing a soap opera or whatever, then it would synchronize if you make a
No,
copy.
I gotta.
You
if
just
I
have to make that
a copy
call.
of it,
You have to make that
then
call.
I gotta reshare the document. I'm kind of starting all over.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean.
So you have to talk to your colleagues.
Yeah, because you don't know, right? So
Okay.
she's modifying it. Maybe she's fell asleep at the wheel, right? Hey, have you sent this yet? Where are we? Phone call never hurts. Text message never hurts.
Am I correct though that I have to reshare every time I make a change?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
Absolutely.
they can't sign the previous version because
No.
I've changed.
You created a new
Because
version.
you create,
Yep.
They
So-
think they can sign it, and they do, and they think you haven't, but then they don't.
Yeah. Yeah, they're agreeing to different terms, right? So another thing with this is, and I don't want anyone to get scared off on this either, okay? When I share with CanEd in private, that means the other agent can go into my document and make changes to it, okay? But what's going to happen if I make it? If I filled out the document myself, Sally, we both sign the document. I shoot it off to Joe Schmo. He and his buyer look at this and says, "No, I'm going to change this." The second he clicks on a field, there's going to be a pop-up box that says, "What you're about to do will clear signatures. Do you want to continue?" If he hits continue, my signatures, Sally's signatures, wiped, assuring us that we didn't agree to something that we didn't initially agree to. He makes those changes, they sign, send it back to us. If we agree, we just sign the document again, just like we did before. If we don't like those new terms, guess what we do? We make a change to the document, clear out their signatures, and this can go back and forth as many times until all parties agree. But again, pick up a phone and you can probably save yourself some emails, okay? Awesome.
So if someone makes a change, does it go to the agent or would it go back to the buyer?
Always goes back to you.
Okay, so the buyer wouldn't see it, the agent would have to resend that to the
Correct.
buyer. Okay.
Yeah. And when you get the email back letting you know that the client or the other agent did XYZ, you're going to have an itemized list of those changes so you don't have to jump into the document and try to figure it out. Yes, ma'am.
So why do other agents, when I send it to them, make a new dot loop and send it, and then did you already talk about that?
No, it just drives me crazy.
Yeah, it drives me crazy because it's, I send it to them, and then they make their own dot loop, and then our admin said, "Why do you have so many for the same address?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
We'll pick that up towards the end.
Okay.
Okay?
I covered that yesterday.
Yesterday?
This is part 2.
All right. So as of right now, I'm just going to leave this as can sign because that's all I need Sally to do is sign an initial and then fill out that one box that I've assigned to her. Okay. So I'm going to leave it as can sign. I do have the option to type a little custom message to her, letting her know maybe special instructions, key parts of the document I want her to double check, or just a nice warm greeting, letting her know how happy I am for her business, how quickly we're going to get this home sold. You guys are the master in that world. You guys can craft a pretty nice message there, okay? Also, I want everyone to get in the habit of attaching a PDF to the email. Do this every time, okay? Not only is this a courtesy to the client or whomever you're sharing it with, that they can just download and print out the document straight from the email, it gets them one step closer to doing that. It gets you one step closer to getting the document back. So be selfish. Take advantage of that for yourselves as well, okay?
So, I'm sorry, so when I send this, and I always put a little note, you're saying to click PDF as well?
Yes. So I'm going to send a custom message and there's a little checkbox here.
Yeah, I've never done that. I always get it back, everything's signed.
Sure. But let's say your client says, yeah, I'm going to do electronic signatures. I want to do it. And then they get it and they are like, ooh, I don't know. I probably want to print this out and hand sign it. This just helps them do that.
Right.
Okay? It's not wrong if you don't. So I'm going to go ahead and click share. Now another thing that I'm going to do as a courtesy to my client, and this is going to sound crazy, I pick up the phone and I call them. I know, I'm wild, okay? So I'm going to pick up the phone and I'm going to call them and say, hey Sally, I just emailed you a contract. Do you mind popping your head over and taking a look? And that does two things.
3 hours later, you're on the phone.
It gives her the heads up to check her email. She might not have the push notifications on her phone. She had no idea that you even sent that, right? 2, it gives me a realistic expectation of when I'm going to get these documents back signed. Okay? So let's say she works second shift. She's not going to have access to her email until midnight tonight. Why just share these documents at what? 7:17? About 8 o'clock, I'm going to be wondering what Dollar did with my documents, right? I just shared them. Where'd they go? Internet land? Where are they? I called Sally. I have the peace of mind to know that they're going to get signed after midnight, okay? Don't stress yourselves out, okay? So at this point, let me go ahead and pop over to Sally's email, okay? And again, this is important to know what this email looks like. Sally has a new email here. I don't think it's going to let me zoom in, but can anyone see what that says, who the sender is? It's me. Okay, it doesn't say Sally, here's something from .loop, or here's LAER Realty Partners, here's this. She's going to look at that name and know that is a safe, secure sender, and she's going to feel okay about opening it up, okay? It's important to know what they see, right? So she clicks and opens up that email. The email looks just like this. Pat shared 2 documents in the loop, 53 Gore Street. If you typed a message, it's going to be right here following that loop name, okay? She can click view documents and open them up. Here's my signature block, right, with my photo and my information from my account page. And if she scrolls down, there's those 2 PDF attachments. If she wanted to, she can download these, print these, hang them on her fridge, read them to her kids tonight, whatever she wants to do, okay? But let's look at the experience that the client's going to go through when signing, okay? Watch how easy this is. You signing some documents over there, bud?
Yeah, actually.
Alright, so the documents open up. There's a banner at the top that says start or click start signing to begin. She clicks start signing, immediately shoots her down to her first field. That's weird, there's only 1 field there. Interesting. She clicks, she gets a little preview. I love being right. She gets a little preview of what her dot loop signature is going to look like. Okay? If she wants to, she can click draw and draw it. Okay? If she wants. Or she's going to click adopt and sign and agree to the dot loop terms of use that her electronic signature and initials have the same force effect as her written signature or initials. Okay? If she wanted to, she also has the ability to modify her name here. So let's say she's representing an estate or a trust or a big corporation. She can include that in her name. Okay? Consult legal counsel before you just say, Pat said they can type whatever they want up here, okay? Make sure that you're doing that properly, okay? She wants to sign on behalf of a big corporation, great. Otherwise, she clicks adopt and sign. She's then shot down to her next field. Once this loads, now it looks like I can sign all these, right? Psych, you can't. Once you click on one of them, it's going to prohibit them from signing the others.
Then that's new. Because we used to get them back signed by
So here's the thing.
Person.
If there is a document that does that, it needs to be fixed. Flag a manager, get that document to me, and we will fix that.
You scroll back up, you can't click back on where it
Cannot. Now what I could do is, now these 3 are options. I could click on one of these 3,
different ones, yeah.
but I'm not going to be able to sign all 3 of them.
Okay.
Okay? Be diligent. If you see something that looks out of place, after hearing me tell you that you can't do this, if you see a document that does, tell someone. See something, say something, right?
If you click on Sulla right there and just initial that, it'll automatically jump. You can't go back now and click on her again.
No.
On Sally.
No. I'm only going to be able to choose one of these.
So I don't need to go through and delete all the extras anymore?
You do not.
Do it.
Now, if you think that this is going to confuse your client, without clicking on one of them, they may say, well, why do I need to sign all 3? But they just haven't clicked on one to realize that it's going to prohibit them from clicking the others. If you think that's going to be the case, then yeah, you may want to default those to no one. That way they don't even see them. But I think you should be fine. Okay? If I scroll down, boom, boom, boom. Fill. So the other said sign. This one says fill. All right? You love the fact that we got these silly sticky things that you guys love so much? Little tab things that get stuck to everything? Silly. So I click on that, fill that in, I hit next. Boom. All the meanwhile, I have a meter here letting me know how many fields I have remaining. But let's say, I'm scrolling up or down, reading the document as I should. I don't see that meter, yet I think I am done. Okay, because none of these boxes let me click on it, so I click the I'm done button over here. She's going to get a pop-up box that says, you've skipped 2 fields, Sally. So she can either say, okay, skip, or show me. So if you ever get a document back that's not fully signed, they did that knowingly. Okay, you are not going to be able to accidentally skip fields unless you can't read, right?
So if they do
they're gonna
skip
know.
it, you'll get it back still, but it just won't be filled out completely?
Correct.
Okay.
And you're going to get the email that says so-and-so has signed a document. It's going to say so-and-so has partially signed a document. So before you even look at it, you're going to know that they didn't fill everything out.
That's when you call the other agent and say they didn't fill it out.
Well, in this case, you'd call Sally and say, what do you want? Yeah.
How do you delete like initials? Like you put in initial box or a text box. How do you delete that if you decide you don't want that on the page? Because I can never find any delete to try to delete it. Okay.
We'll get to that. So in this case, I'm going to click Show Me. Shoots me down to those fields. Boom. Boom. Now, you're almost done. Click Finish to sending completed documents back to the sender. Finish signing's blinking. That's what produces an email back to you like a boomerang letting you know that your clients have signed. At this point, she has the ability to connect to any of your service providers. Okay? Again, she can skip if she's not ready or wants to consult you first. And then she's going to be prompted to create a password for her new free .loop account. Okay? We all know your clients do not need to do this if they don't want to. Okay? So if Sally looks at that and says, Patrick, that's one more password that I know I'm going to forget. I don't want to do it. Well, Sally, close that box down. Have a great day. Okay? Or if she sees, well, it says sign up for a free .loop account. I've seen that snake in the grass before. Sally, go ahead and close it down. You don't have to do it. Trust me, .loop doesn't want your money. Okay?
I had a client the other day accidentally sign up as a realtor agent.
It's okay. They're just going to get marketing emails now.
Okay. I couldn't figure out how to change it.
They'll get through.
They can unsubscribe the email if they want to. Or they're going to know what's down the pipe with .loop. But if your client does create that password, that means they can go to .loop.com, they can enter their email, enter their password, and there's going to be a loop and these documents waiting for them. Okay? So this is Sally's loop. What do you see? What don't you see?
See just what you sent her.
Everything else is private, right? So again, this is one reason that we should be going through the client experience so we know and have the peace of mind. Okay, .loop says this stuff's private, but I don't know. Go through it and test it out on your own, okay? I promise. So at this point, I'll go ahead, I'll sign back into my account. Any questions about that client experience? How easy was that?
Very easy.
Very easy, right? And in situations where your clients have questions, now that we've gone through it once, we're probably going to be better suited to answer those questions, okay?
When your clients make their own account, they always change their name to their nickname, and all the documents they sign are now wrong. Just FYI. Remind them to change to keep their legal name, because they'll just write Ted instead of Theodore, and then when they sign, that's what it says.
Never caught that.
Yeah.
Old Ted.
It happens.
Alright, here I am going back into my loop. Now when I get back in, you'll see that those documents that I've shared now say signed, right? So if we fast forward a little bit and let's assume that everything now in this listing folder is executed, what do we need to do with a fully executed folder?
Send it to our admin.
We need to submit it for review, right? We've made that process extremely easy because we've placed your admin's desk in the top right hand corner with a button that says submit for review. Okay? All you need to do is submit for review. Okay? I'm going to get Lisa to make some t-shirts of that for you guys. So, literally, when I'm ready, I click submit for review. It's going to ask me which folder I'm submitting. So I'm going to submit my listing folder. What type of review is it? It's listing. And I can type something helpful in here to my admin, letting them know something specific about this listing, right? Whether the sellers live out of the country, whether you're still waiting on the seller's disclosure to be signed, right? They needed 24 more hours, whatever. You can type something helpful in there so they're not questioning what's going on, okay? I click submit. They get an email letting them know it's time for them to go into 53 Gore Street. If I do not click submit for review, guess who's not going into my loop to see if I'm ready, right? The admins. Who here's an admin? Nobody? Okay. I will vouch for them. They have far too much going on in their day just to be popping their head into your loop to see if Patrick got that one document signed. Okay? Do your part. When you're ready, click submit for review to let them know. That easy. Okay? The faster you get it into them, faster you click submit, guess what? Faster you guys get paid. All right? Hopefully. So we submitted that. Let's go ahead and say everything's been approved. I could probably go ahead and update this to an active listing. Okay? Now at this point, I can collapse that. At this point, we're live on the MLS. Everything's been approved. What do we want now?
Offers.
Offers, right? So, we start to get offers coming in. I already have one offer folder here, so I can purpose that, click add documents and add any documents in here, okay? If I'm getting more than one offer, what am I going to do?
Make more folders.
Add more folders, right? So you can name those appropriately and say offer folder, 2. You could say something along the lines of offer folder from John Doe, received, let's try that again, received 10/9, oh my goodness, 10/9 at 8 p.m. If that's what you want your folder not titled, go right ahead, okay? But now be aware, now that we have multiple folders, we now have multiple add document buttons, so be aware of which one you're clicking on, otherwise you're going to add to the wrong folder. Which I will tell you was a pretty big problem like a year ago, but now you have the ability to drag and drop documents between folders. That was like our longest, most requested feature. Yeah, you can do it. You want to watch?
Yeah.
You want to see me do it? Take that, junk.
Oh, that's awesome.
Alright? It's the little things, honest. But
Is
now,
that
so...
only if we click on the new version, or?
No, this is live for everyone. But, that is how you move a document. We used to use the make a copy, which kept the document in the original.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, no, if you're truly trying to move it, or if you need to make a copy, use the functions appropriately, okay?
Can you do that again? I'm sorry.
You want to see me drag it?
Yeah.
Drag it like it's hot.
Drag.
Okay.
You can move those, nice.
What is setup easy offer?
It's on your cheat sheet.
It is? Okay.
If we have time, I'll talk about it, okay? You guys are asking some killer questions here. So, let's do this. Unfortunately, Sally can't accept all of these offers, okay? So what are we going to do with offers that we don't accept? Archive them. Please make sure, even if you know that this offer is not going to get accepted, plug it in, okay? I'm sure Massachusetts is no different than any other state. You need to have proof of receipt of these offers, right? Instead of, scrounging around the floorboard of your car to find that offer that didn't make it, put it in a dot loop and you're going to be able to find it, okay? Even more so.
We can archive it once it's not accepted, so it's not so confusing for the admin, right?
Please archive it. Yes, please archive it. And then let's say that we archive these folders here. I'll collapse that folder again. Let's say John, his buyers back out after inspection. Well, luckily for me, I plugged in those backup offers. All I got to do is click Show Archive. The ball never stops rolling, right? Okay? Now, John sent me an email last night with an offer to purchase. Now, let me back up a step, tell you a little bit about John. I've worked with John in the past, okay? And I was really hoping I'd never have to work with the guy again, okay? He was a pain in my side the first time. I'm sure it's not going to be any different now. So I'm sure you guys can imagine that person in your market that you... Don't say their names, please, okay? I don't want them to be in the room. But essentially, John doesn't use dot loop, so that is unfortunately one of the reasons why I don't care for him. So he just emails contracts, okay, which is fine, right? Everybody does that. So he emailed me an offer to purchase last evening. I can use this email feature here and get that offer from my inbox into this folder without ever downloading it.
That's awesome. I use that all the time.
Yeah. So a couple reasons why you might want to do this.
Is it? I don't have that box.
You're in the
Is it
template
right here?
section. Nope. Go to loops. Go into a loop.
Sorry. We'll discuss it.
Add document. and you'll see it. So let's say you're on an older laptop, maybe you're on your phone, something that you just can't keep downloading documents to and slowing down the device. This allows you to circumvent that need, okay? So I can click email. This big long 40-character email appears. All I have to do is click copy to clipboard. Click copy to clipboard. Then I go to my email, where his email is, okay? I believe it's in my offer folders. Here it is. Hey Pat, it's been a while. Not long enough, bud. There's that PDF attachment. I'm going to select forward, right click, paste, send. So I'm pasting that in the recipient in 2-line, right? And I hit send. I'll go ahead and do that one more time for everybody. Hit refresh. So I click add document, email, copy to clipboard, then I forward, right click, paste, send.
So what did you forward, the PDF only or the?
Just the PDF. We don't
But
care
if you
about the
scan
subject,
documents
we don't care
through
about the
email,
body,
then just send
all we
it.
care about is that PDF.
How did you get the PDF though, and not the whole email?
The PDF's the only thing that Dollop's going to bring in.
Oh, okay.
So John sent me an email with the PDF. I could care less about what John wants to talk about. All I care about is that offer.
I'm taking a little offense to that right
Last name Doe? We're good then.
He knows me.
They all know each other, right? So if I hit refresh, what do you know? There's that PDF attachment, okay? And what do you know? He didn't even think to rename it, right? Looks like a robot sent it to me.
So if somebody sends me an offer in 10 different pages, which I love, if I do that, they'll all go in there as one? All of them?
They're sending them as 10 different PDFs?
Some do.
Which is weird.
Yeah, they all go in. As long as it's a PDF, it'll go in. There's no limit.
But it goes in
But so
separately.
that way-
She's
That's
asking
They'll go
to
in
combine,
separately.
yeah.
That's okay. If it makes it in there, that's better.
It's very easy to combine them if you need
Okay.
to. Yeah.
Not download, then go get them.
But you
Are
gotta
you gonna
open
show us?
all 10 of them.
Yeah. So at this point, that's not going to fly with me, right? I wouldn't imagine your admins being too keen on that either. So I'm going to go ahead and take, the initiative. I'll rename it for John. So I'll go to the drop-down menu to the right. I'll click rename and offer from John.
Okay, the email from Stacy said that you would be able to show us how to actually edit the PDFs to separate them into multiple pages.
Sure.
That's like gold.
Okay. I can show you that. But real quick, before we do that,
Okay.
I got this email from John last night. I immediately called Sally, letting her know, hey, we got an offer I think we should consider. What are you doing? And she says, well, I'm about to go to sleep, but I'll be in your office tomorrow morning. So here it is, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., whatever time you guys roll in. Here she is coming in too. So we're going to open up this loop together and look at it, or this document and look at it, okay? Just confirms why I...
Don't
John. Yeah.
Damn you,
So this mistakes happen, but with John, it's becoming intentional. This guy. So what this means is what?
I've had that.
I need to download it. I need to print it. I got to go to the scanner, rotate it, scan it back in, save it on my desktop, drag it, and drop it up.
No, you're gonna show us how to fix it.
No, I'm gonna go to use dot loop, and I'm gonna go to File, and I'm gonna select Rotate. I can rotate a page left or right or a file left or right, so what you may want to do first is look to see what this guy sent you.
Are they all upside down?
Let's hope so. Okay, good. That's good. If they're every other, that'd be a phone call for sure to John. So I'm going to rotate. I'm going to click page left twice. Clicking it once turns it horizontal. 2 times will flip it all the way up. Okay? Now, let's say not only did John send me this purchase agreement, but he also sent me 6 other addendums, right? I can go to File, I can go to Split Document, and it's going to say, how many pages do you want to split it into? So at this point there's only 2 pages, so I'm going to have to say 2. The pages are 1 and 1 and 2 and 2. I rename them. I click split. That easy.
I love that.
Super, super easy. Okay? Now, this being as it's a PDF, I can't just click on these fields and begin typing. Okay? That means I'm going to need to add my own editing capabilities and tools. So I have at the top of my page an add, and I have signatures, initials, text, dates, names, checkbox, radio buttons, and strike-throughs. So let's start with a name field. I can drag that down over that owner of record there. And when I drop it, I mean, Sally Seller is only, 10 letters, but still, it's not really going to fit in there. So you need to maximize that box. And you can do that by grabbing this little beveled edge in the bottom right, dragging at the length and width that you need. Okay? Or you can reference your handout and learn some hotkeys. And watch this. Okay?
Nothing up my sleeve.
No magic, right? Here we go. I want this box to extend all the way to that end, okay? I've had too much coffee today. My cursor, there's no way I'm going to keep it straight. So all I need to do is hold shift down with this hand. I click to where I want that to end. Boom. Okay?
How cool is that?
So cool, guys. All right. Now, if you're like me, that box is still off a little bit, right? Yeah. Okay, it needs to be moved down a little bit. There's still a gap here on both sides. Again, with my hands, I can move this 1 pixel at a time until it's perfect. Then I can make it a little bit longer. I can drag it down.
How'd you make it longer?
My Alt or Option key.
And
So the keys are going to be a little bit different for Mac and PCs, but they're all on your cheat sheet, okay? If I need to duplicate that box, I can do Shift and Alt and down. I can make as many of those as I want, and I don't have to keep resizing that box. I found the perfect size for the one. I want that same box in that same pixel size. I can duplicate it. Question someone asked, I dropped too many. I want them out of here.
Uh-oh.
There's too many. I made a mistake. I want to get rid of them. I can, this is probably the easiest thing, with my cursor, drag an imaginary box over top of them. I just got to touch them. I get a blue X. Bye-bye. Did everyone see that? Want to see it again? I drop an initial field. Oops, I dropped too many of them. I highlight the ones I don't want, or maybe all of them. Blue X. Bye-bye. Okay, everyone saw the blue X?
Yep.
Okay.
She can't contain herself.
Well, we said it earlier. We had our offer.
The little things mean a lot, right?
We had
So let's add that text box or that name field one more time. So the difference between a text box and a name field is the fact that once you begin typing, you're going to get those suggestions to you for a name versus a text, right? So if Sally's name is Selazinski, there's not a single vowel in it. You only have to spell it right once. Okay? Did I say this already in this class?
No.
So I did it earlier. I asked if there was any Selazinskis here. The last time I was in Boston, I think it was another company, I said Selazinski and a lady shot her hand up. Her first name wasn't Sally, but it was Selazinski or something along those lines.
That's fine.
But you may work with her soon. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I've tried to keep bold on all the time. I don't know why it is not always bold.
Okay.
It's always too light.
Yeah.
And so how do I make it permanently bold? And I called .loop and they told me how to do it and it doesn't stick.
So there's a couple reasons. One, if you're using your Office templates, the Office is going to override whatever your
What
preferences
does that
is.
mean, an office template? What does that mean?
The layer.
So you're grabbing a listing packet or buying packet that your Office has already created.
Right.
So those are defaulted not to be bold, and that's going to override you all the time. So if you wanted to default that to bold, you would need to create your own listing packet or buying packet, default those, and those will always be
But
the
here's
change.
my question to .loop. Why is it not always bold for everyone? Why would you want it fake so that people are reading a legal document and they can't see it? So why would you just not make it bold?
to create contrast. So if I make everything bold and I want to make something bolder, I can't. So you have non-bold and then the contrast would be bold, so that way you can make a difference between the two and not everything would appear to be the same. I understand what you're probably saying is, I just need to be darker and bigger. But then you need something to be a little bit darker and bigger, and then there's no runway there. You can't make it bigger or darker. I kind of just made that up. I imagine that's why.
It sounded good. It sounded really good.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does.
Okay. But I can get a real answer for you. Again, I hope I'm right. Okay. Here we go. Let's add some more stuff. I can add a text field. A text field is pretty, obviously simple. I can make that, go here, go down, fill in that whole box. Pretty quick and easy. Okay. I can add, let's scroll down and see. Well, clearly we're going to counter that bad boy. We're getting lowballed pretty hard. If I scroll down, looks like I didn't rotate this here. Oh well, we'll use our imagination. I don't want to use my imagination. Let's just counter it up here. I know this document has its own spot for counter, etc., but I think you guys understand that application, right? You know where that needs to go, etc. So I'll just use the top page just to kind of show you the PDF functionality. So let's say I wanted to redact that 500,000. I could add that strike through right over top and redact it. Okay. If I needed to redact a whole paragraph, I could do that, right? I could say, I don't need this contingencies here. I can hold shift. I can go to the end of the line. I can do that, duplicate it, boom. That's all gone. Okay. If I go to signature, I'll just go ahead and drop this here. Obviously, that's not going to match the length and width, so I can go ahead and kind of resize it, drag it down a little bit. Perfect. Cool. Now with a PDF, the system doesn't know who you intend to have sign there, so the options are assign this field to someone or sign it yourself. I'm going to go ahead and choose assign field, Sally's name, Sally sign here. She's going to be stopped and prompted on that field to sign it. Okay. I can duplicate that box over here, okay, and reassign that to someone else. So I don't have to again drag it and drop it. If I want to make sure that these two appear to be the same size and length, I'm going to create one and I'm going to duplicate it and try not to, try to match it perfectly. Okay. I'll get rid of that. This is interesting here, especially when you have, multiple buyers or multiple sellers, and you need them to initial the bottom of every page. Well, let's say this is 10 pages. I have 3 sellers or buyers. Well, I got to go up to add, grab an initial field, go to the bottom of the page, then go up to the top and assign it to Sally. Then I got to go back up and add another one down at the bottom. And I got to go back up. A lot of top and bottoms, right? Let me do this. I'm going to add Tim Seller.
Oh, her secret husband.
Yeah. He was on the title. We had to add him. What I can do, has anyone ever noticed this legend over here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. What I can do is I can highlight these 2 boxes. I can use that legend, Shift, Command C to copy. I can scroll down to the bottom of page 2, click Command Shift V, boom, they're already assigned to my client. I can just go bang, bang, bang down the page.
And I'll dive for initial instead of having to go into the menu.
It's great, right?
It's awesome.
Thank you, that was my idea.
I love it. Great idea.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's do this. So here, again, actually there's a few other items here. Date fields, obviously you click on it, get a calendar, boom. That couldn't be any easier. If there's anybody that prefers the phonetic over the numeric, you can actually back that out and type in September or whatever you want. I don't know why you would, but you may want to. You can do that.
I think it's cool.
All right. Just the fact that you can is cool, right?
Yes.
Can anyone tell me the difference between a checkbox and a radio button? I'll give you a hint. I told you earlier.
Radio buttons can only be one at a time.
There you go. In a checkbox, all that apply, right?
Yeah.
So they want to leave the washer, dryer, dog, kids, they can check mark all of them, right? But if they want to waive their radon inspection, no, you know, yes they want it, or no, I don't know what it is, they're only going to be able to choose one of those. Cool?
Yeah.
All right. Now, remember, I mentioned Sally's with me. She's in my office. We're looking at this together. It would make no sense for me to click save and share for her to hop in her car, drive all the way home, fire up her IBM computer, and sign these documents. Nor would it make any sense for her to pull out her little 3x5 phone and sign them when I got this nice big laptop in front of me. Okay? So instead, I'm going to click save. I'm going to go to more, host in-person signing. Okay? I click that. It's going to ask me who I want to sign. So I'll choose Sally's name. I'll hit continue. Now it says hand over the controls of the device to Sally Siller. When Sally Siller is completed signing, you may stand back in to see the results. Okay? If you get a double S there, that's a fun tongue twister. So at this point, I either hand her my iPad, my phone, I spin my laptop around, I get out of my desk chair, she sits down, she clicks begin signing. Watch and look at this experience. Should look familiar. It's the same experience had I emailed it to her. Yet this time I'm sitting with her and I can say, you know, explain the contract. I can go through it with her. I can say, Sally, that start signing button's been blinking for over a minute. Please click it. All right, so she clicks. Shoots her down to her first field. Sally, click on, yep, see that? Click there. That's just verifying that's your name. Great. Click adopt and sign. Perfect. Great. Sign there.
So we can sign for people.
Yeah. So, if you want the honest answer to that, I'll show you why you should never commit fraud. Okay? I'll click skip. Again, she's going to be prompted the same thing as if I did email it to her, okay? One thing I may have failed to mention, when I email a contract to my client, yes, I get an email as the agent letting me know that I signed successfully, or that she signed successfully. Guess who also gets an email letting them know that they signed successfully? The client. Guess what happens when the client signs this? They get an email. So if today's the day that you decide, I'm going to go to prison, that's how you got rung up right there, okay? And there's more than just that too, okay? So I do need to sign back in, but let me do this real quick. So I sign back in. At this point, I would have to go through that process with Tim, because I can only do one at a time. But let's say I open up this loop. I can do two things. Maybe the bank or a lender says, you know, like, I've never heard of dot loop, which at this point would be rare, but they say, like, how are these signatures even valid, right? Or how are they all, authenticized, right? There's two ways to look at it. I could go to the drop-down menu and check the signature verification page, or if I click on any document that I've had signed, every page is going to have a hyperlink at the top. If I click on it, it's going to take me to the signature verification page where I'm going to have a ton of different codes that have been applied to this document, okay? First of all, there's a transaction ID, document ID, there's a page signatures, etc. The date and time stamp, the ID of the document, the IP address of the document was signed on. The security level was signed in person, hosted by Patrick J. Brossart. No matter what, someone's knocking on my door, okay? But I will argue, how many codes does this thing have? 0. Okay? So if today's the day you decided to commit a fraud, guess what? You could have been doing it all the long time. You could have been doing it for years, right? But we're not going to do that, and you will be caught.
So if you
end of story. You're going to real estate jail.
In there, you can never, ever, ever remove it.
Say that one more time.
If the document is scanned and uploaded into dot loop, you can never remove that document.
Correct. Okay. Yeah. Once it's in dot loop, it's there for good. We did have a delete button. We're 9 years old. 8.5 years ago, we had a delete button. You want to guess why we got rid of it? Someone deleted an executed contract on the day of closing.
Oh, God.
So you're welcome. Right? If we gave you guys the ability to delete, guess what you guys would do?
Delete.
You would delete stuff. Right? So this is security against yourselves. Right?
But you can archive them.
You can archive them. It's the same thing. Okay? So at this point, we get these documents back. Actually, let me do this. That host in person signing. Can anyone think of a good example of when that would be a great use case?
You have an older client that can't figure it out, so you sit beside them and help them.
You walk them right through the document.
Less
Right?
steps.
Even in-person signing though, don't they still need an email?
100% yes.
Okay.
But if they're just uncomfortable with technology, they still have an email, then please walk them through that experience like that. What about going on a listing presentation? Guess what I do? I create a loop before I go. I add all my documents. Probably not going to fill any of them out, but I'm going to go to that home. I'm going to sit at the kitchen counter with them. I'm going to open up my laptop. I'm going to open up this loop, and we're going to go open up all these documents at once. We're going to let everything autofill. Then we're going to fill in the blanks.
You do it at the presentation.
At the presentation.
Oh, I printed off.
What I'm not going to do is leave a piece of paper on the kitchen counter and say, hey, call me in 24 hours. Not me. I'm getting that listing right now before I walk out of the house. The best way to do it, capture it in the moment, put the computer in their hands. They will sign. Okay? What about, I get this listing. This Sunday I have an open house. Guess what I do before that open house? I add an offer to purchase to this loop. I fill out as much as I can of it, and I hope that somebody walks in that house and says, Patrick, wow, I love this house. I think I want to make an offer. Great, let me get my laptop. What's your name? What's your email? How much? Sign.
Cool.
Putting a buyer in the home of the dreams within minutes feels pretty good. And I will challenge any of you to get an offer in faster than me. Okay? Serious. Use the power of technology. So at this point, let's say the offer and everything is executed. What do we need to do with an executed contract? Submit it. So I click submit. I choose that folder. I say it's the buying folder. I type a little message to my admins letting them know how awesome they are. And I click submit. They get an email. They pop in. They review it. If something's missing, you're going to get an email back letting you know. Okay? Which at that point, let's say everything's good. I can go ahead and update this from active listing to under contract. And then I can fill in a couple more prompts here, such as that price, closing date, etc. Okay, closing date comes and goes. I mark that as sold. And we're good. Okay? Now, again, the reason I want to stay on top of those statuses is because when I go back to the loops page, let's say I want to see all of my inventory that I sold this year. Well, if I'm not updating those statuses, good luck, right? That's like having one drawer in your filing cabinet and you throw everything in it. Like, it wouldn't make any sense to do. Same goes here, okay? So if I wanted to, I can go to my filters here and say, okay, I just want to see all of my sold loops. So I hit that box, zoom out a little bit, hit apply. There we go. There's my 3 sold transactions. The price point's great. I'm getting 14%. I'm happy. Okay? All right? Now, I know there were a few questions that I said I'll get to at the end. Did anyone write those down? Remember them?